graceful with you. Thank you so much for that introduction. And it's so great to be back in the Next Jump Nook. I spent a lot of time at Next Jump and got to know the New York office specifically. So it feels really good to be back with all of you, and thank you for joining. I'm going to just share my screen and I'm going to go through a presentation. So today we're going to talk about what really is sleep, how does it function in our bodies, what are we lacking, what is actual rest and the difference between rest and sleep. And then I'll go through a little bit of a yoga nidra practice and then break down the practice to give you techniques of things you can bring into your normal life to help you with sleep. So let me share my screen. Okay. Here we go. Great. So nurturing your sleep relationship. And you'll see as we move forward how your relationship with sleep directly impacts all the other relationships, whether it's with health, finances, or people in your life. So I'm very happy to be here again with you guys. So in late 2015, I came into Next Jump in 2016. Charlie had done a company-wide poll. I guess he does it often to figure out what are some barriers for employees. And the year prior was stress. And I think 2015 was sleep. So he found staggering statistics that showed that his employees were getting less than 6 hours of sleep, and specifically the leadership team was getting less than 5 hours. There was a sleep pod bought, there was a nap room. They were thinking of all different ways and really not seeing results. He tasked Peter, I think Peter's still with you guys. He tasked Peter with finding a natural and effective way of helping employees get more sleep. And that's when he brought me on through Exuberancy to do yoga nidra classes. And I taught 3 times a week at Next Jump. Another teacher taught twice a week. So he rolled it out to 5 days a week, 30 minutes, 2 to 2:30, I think it was. And then also made a mandate on not having meetings during that time to really allow himself and other employees to take advantage of this practice, and then rolled it out globally. I've worked with numerous companies over the last 5 years in New York and San Francisco with sleep class, and Next Jump is still to this day the most provocative company that is really using this and integrating it into creating and developing holistic employees. So thank you so much for being a part of this. One thing he tackles in this article is the first question he asks is, would it be okay if your employees came to work drunk? And it's a question that makes you laugh, because of course not, it wouldn't be okay. And he asked that because research came out during that time around the cognitive ability and cognitive impairment of what happens to you when you don't get enough sleep is actually equates to alcohol impairment as well. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys, and you can close your eyes if you want, or just kind of sink in. And I know there will be a poll to kind of take some answers, but just take a moment. If it helps, again, close your eyes and think about your relationship with sleep. So imagine it's your partner, your best friend, a family member. What would sleep say about your relationship? And I think we'll put a poll up just to see how is it a healthy relationship? Is it something that's on again, off again? Is it complicated? Does it depend on the day or time of the month or time of the season? Cool, I see a lot. It's complicated. Depends on the day. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll. Thank you guys for that. Those are some cool statistics. Okay. So for me, my relationship with sleep, it became complicated in 2011 when I lost my dad to a sudden heart attack. He actually was suffering from sleep apnea, which makes up about 15% of the US population suffers from sleep apnea. And I wanted a way, I was feeling so many emotions and I wanted a way to just go to sleep and knock myself out. And so I started to take lorazepam, small doses of lorazepam. My mom and I would take so we could actually sleep and get up in the morning. And over time, I found that I really actually wanted to understand my emotions. I wanted to understand all the anger, the frustration, the sadness that comes during the grief journey. And I stopped taking sleep medication and started to do yoga nidra, kundalini yoga, lots of different types of meditations and yogas to help me sleep and actually help me feel fully my emotions. One thing that happened with sleep was that I started to actually have lucid dreams. So I actually started to remember phrases or have full-fledged poems or solutions that I would write down while I'm sleeping or write down in the morning when I woke up. And I was really curious about this creative garden that happens for us within our subconscious. These are two phrases that are actually featured in my book of poems that I wrote while I was asleep. So I think not just with rest, sleep is good for rest, but it also, if you do it right, it allows you to get into the subconscious, which is your garden, which is the place of creativity, innovation, memory recall, and actually helps you deal with some of fears and phobias that you have. So now we're going to talk a little bit about sleep, the good, the bad, the restless, and give you some statistics on sleep and also the consequences of lack of sleep. So in 2013, when I first gave a talk for Next Jump was in 2015. So actually I've had to update all of these statistics because they've increased and they have changed throughout time. And also the research on sleep has also expanded to finding out, do women need more sleep than men? How does it affect you emotionally? How does it affect relationships? So there's been a lot of research that has come out in the last few years about sleep. Sleep was named by the CDC a national epidemic that affects 1 in 3 adults in the US. And 1 in 3 adults, you'll see from the lower right-hand little bubble, 43% of Americans get less than 7 hours of sleep. And according to the poll we gave you guys, you kind of fit into that statistic. Less than 7 hours by the CDC is the minimum amount that adults should be getting per night. Also, another staggering statistic that came out in 2019 is that 60% of the US population experience insomnia. That really blew my mind. And to the extent that we're not sleeping, to the extent we're dying to sleep, to the extent of what that means for our society. The other interesting statistic they found is that females actually need more sleep than males, up to 20 minutes more because of the impact of the brain, the multitasking function that women usually do. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And then they also asked Americans what were your top health priorities, and sleep was number 4, really showing that we have some work to do with prioritizing sleep. The physical effects, these are some of the physical effects based on research, disrupts our hormones, and that leads to cortisol levels, and cortisol leads to affected cortisol levels leads to depression, to mood, to anxiety. So that really affects who we are and how we show up in the world. And then lethargy. We all know if you don't get enough restful sleep, how you might not want to work out or be intimate or do outdoor activities. You might just want to kind of chill out and lay around. Chronic disease. Sleep is linked to sleep apnea, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, obesity, and depression. It really is a gateway into some of these things that we struggle with. And then the last thing, which I think is really valid right now, especially in the time of COVID and keeping our immune system strong, is that lack of sleep leads to weaker immune systems and really affects our body's ability to fight cold, flu, and other viruses. So get your sleep during COVID. Some of the cognitive effects, brain fog. Brain fog is when it's hard to bring up easy things to remember that are usually easy for you. So emails, phone numbers, a task you just told somebody that you would do and then forgot about it shortly after. Scientists found that the brain cells are not fully communicating with each other if you have sleep deprivation. Also, the reaction time. So, and this affects driving, this affects accidents, this affects all different ways in which we react to things that happen to us in life. And this is kind of part of the statistic about decrease, of sleep deprivation really impairing to the levels of alcohol intoxication. The other statistic I thought that was interesting is that 75% of people with ADHD may actually have a chronic underlying sleep problem that is affecting their circadian rhythms. So this is important for youth, for children, for adults alike, that sleep really is helpful for us to be able to focus and to be able to react. The last thing is that it impairs memory. So your learning ability. So Yoga Nidra, when it was first formulated, was actually to remember things faster, to recall things. And right now they're using Yoga Nidra to teach language to adults and children. So lack of sleep actually impacts your memories. These are some of the emotional effects. Negative mindset. Does anyone, if you haven't slept, are you kind of like Eeyore or a little bit like feeling like, just kind of grumpy? I know I am. If I don't get sleep, I tell people you might want to stay away for a little bit. But it's actually clinically proven that lack of sleep really does lead to this, what psychologists call this repetitive negative thinking, especially if you're suffering from sleep deprivation, which is a series of evenings without your minimum number of hours of sleep. The other one is loneliness. I thought that was really interesting. And when I reflected on it, I agreed with that. Is lack of sleep leading to social withdrawal, to isolation, to loneliness. I think it's also part of that brain fog, is you're in this kind of veil, you're in this limbo because you're not getting enough sleep for the body to function. People worry more. So when you're sleep deprived, you worry about what's next, you worry about the future, fear and anxiety levels are higher, and so therefore worry is also higher. And emotional reactivity. When we don't get enough sleep, we react impulsively. There is irritability, reaction within frustration and anger. It's quicker to trigger, if you will. And this one I've made a separate slide for because I thought it was so important. They're finding that sleep deprivation, lack of sleep, really affects relationships. And it not only affects relationships physically for a healthy sex life, but also interferes with different parts of the relationship, how you treat your partner, how you see your partner, the gratitude you have for your partner, and then finally the empathy you feel for your partner, for others. And so sleep really is this foundational relationship that we need to nurture in order to have healthy relationships. The final one is this slide I had to, update from my talk in 2015, but this is a staggering amount of people that are paying for over-the-counter sleep aids and how fast that's going to grow to 2025. So we're going to talk a little bit about quality rest. What is it and why you want it? So this is a graph that talks about the stages to sleep. On the left-hand side are the hertz, and then the brain wave, the description of what happens during that time. And then on the far right are the waves. So the first one, gamma, is like when you're hyper aware, when you are I don't know, trading stocks, or you are in a meeting, or you are speaking, you're giving a presentation. Right now, I'm probably in my gamma because I'm very aware, I'm concentrated, I'm focused, and so the brain waves are a lot closer together. The second stage is beta, which is just a normal state of consciousness where your five senses are engaged, you're alert, your eyes are open, and you can see the brain waves start to spread out a little bit in beta. The next phase is, the next two phases are actually within your subconscious. So the first one I'll talk about is alpha. And you'll see the brain waves have a lot more space in between. That's the drowsiness. So that's when you're laying down on your bed, you're getting ready to go to sleep, you close your eyes, and that's when your maybe lucid dreaming happens, when you're going in and out of sleep. You're not really thinking too much. Maybe your mind is moving a little bit, but it's starting to slow down. This is a great time to put intentions or gratitude or things like that. And then, of course, your physical body slows down, your muscle activity. After alpha, you go into theta. So alpha and theta actually dip in and out of REM. So it's important to note those. This is also a deeper level of being in your subconscious. So this is deep relaxation, meditation. You're in a mild sleep. You might not realize you're asleep. You don't know if you're asleep or awake. This is memory or visual imagery that starts to come up, a release of emotions, even suppressed fears. You'll start that dreaming phase, and then slower breath and heart rate. And then finally you go into delta. And so you can see that's a very, like, the heart rate is way, way down. The body is just fully asleep. The brain waves slow down, limited muscle activity. And this is kind of awakening of instincts and primitive drives. So I'll just leave that up for a little bit. And you guys can always ask questions afterwards. So do any of you, when you see this question, why do I feel exhausted whether I slept 14 hours or 4? Do any of you guys, and you can say it in the chat, ever feel that way, that you sleep 14 hours and you're like, I feel like I've slept 2, or you sleep 4 hours and you still feel exhausted, or even feel rested? So the reason behind that, and what the crux of this presentation is about restful sleep. So most people sleep with all resolving their muscular, mental, and emotional tensions. This is because they merge directly from the beta state into the delta state with no platform of alpha predominance and total relaxation in between. So this is why many people wake up tired in the morning, or you wake up in the middle of the night, or you're up for a while, then you go back to sleep. I noticed some people said that in the chat. So deep relaxation, even during sleep, occurs when the alpha waves have a predominance where they become intense. So the journey to sleep is really, really important. And that's one thing that we skip, especially if we're doing sleep aids. So just bringing up those two phases in the subconscious, the phases that we're going to focus on today is the alpha and theta. Again, it's this gateway between conscious and unconscious state of mind, between that beta where you're awake and that delta when you're totally knocked out. This is your place of memories and new information. This is the best time for imagination. Alpha also governs your daydreams, your fantasy, and denotes a state of detached consciousness. And what that means is you might not know you're awake or asleep. You're in that place where if someone asks you to move, you might not be able to. And this is when relaxation really starts. Theta is just like a super bonus. We don't stay in alpha and theta very long during the night, actually only a few minutes. So what you'll see from the Yoga Nidra practice is it's a practice that helps people or encourages people to stay in these states for longer than they normally get at night to get that rest. They say 30 minutes of Yoga Nidra is equal up to 2 hours of rest, of relaxation. And theta, just that deep relaxation, mild sleep, almost like a hypnosis or deep meditation. If you've ever meditated and felt like, wow, I'm just kind of in this nothing place, you're definitely in theta. And it also directs your beliefs and your behaviors, things that have been imprinted on your brain since you were young, fears, desires, things that you really want, memories. So it's a wonderful place to play, and it's a place that I really try to encourage clients to extend. So the hypothesis that I've been testing since I actually worked at NextJump, both with you guys and with other companies, is what if the very thing we try to bypass to get to sleep is actually the key to getting more rest, to getting more sleep? So Yoga Nidra, the definition, yoga is just a one-pointed awareness. That's what that word means. And Nidra means sleep. Yoga Nidra is this psychic sleep, a sleep with full awareness. So you know that you're aware of your body, you're aware of what's going on, but your body is fully asleep. You're in a yogic paralysis of the body. It came from an ancient tantra practice called Nyasa, and it was developed by Swami Satyananda Saraswati in the 1960s. It's really the systematic method of inducing complete physical, mental, and emotional relaxation. And it's that place between sleep and wakefulness. And this is just a further definition from the Amrit Yoga Institute. It allows you to drop into a sleep-like state with relaxed brainwave activity. Slow alpha waves and even slower theta waves produce deep relaxation and are the entry points to the subconscious. In this state, you make a conscious crossover from the logical left brain to the intuitive right brain, connected to the field of conscious pranic intelligence, where intention is carried out spontaneously and effortlessly. So I thought we could practice just a short little part of Yoga Nidra before we move on. So if you could get in a comfortable position, you can sit down if you want to lay down. If you have that luxury right now, you can lay down, you can turn your cameras off if that feels comfortable for you. Just find a comfortable and safe place. And then close your eyes. And just notice the places of your body that connect to the chair or the couch or the bed. And see if you can get just a little more comfortable. And just to help us go into a little bit more of a relaxation, we're going to tense part of our bodies. We're going to go further into the tension so we can release the tension and feel a sense of relaxation. So bring your awareness to your feet and flex your feet until you feel it through your shins, your calves, maybe into your thigh and your buttocks. And inhale and squeeze. Hold and exhale, release. Unflex the ankles and the feet. Bring your awareness into your hands and clench your fists, squeezing as tight as you can till your arms start to shake. Bring your shoulders into your ears. Squeeze and tense. Inhale. And exhale. Now bring your awareness into your face. Grit your teeth, wrinkle your nose, squint your eyes, puck your lips. Inhale. And exhale, release. And let's bring tension into the entire body. Flex your feet, squeeze your fists, shoulders to your ears, grit your teeth, squeeze and inhale. Hold the breath. Squeeze tighter, tighter, tighter till your body shakes a little bit. And exhale, release. And see if you can settle in just a little bit more into the chair, into the bed. And become aware of your breathing. So just see where the inhale begins in your body, just letting it happen, what happens as you inhale. And exhale, same thing, just tracking the breath. Inhale, just feeling the expansion of the body, just like a balloon. And exhale, feel the contraction of the body as if the air is going out of the balloon. We're going to use that image to help us keep track of our breath. We're going to count our breath from 20 down to 1. And we're going to try not to lose count. If you lose count, you'll just begin again at 20. If you finish before I speak, just begin again at 20. As you inhale, you'll count. Inhale, 20. Exhale, 20. And then inhale, 19. Exhale, 19. On and on down to 1. Go ahead and begin at number 20 now. As you arrive back to one, stop your counting, but continue your breathing. And just take a moment as we come out of the meditation to just say an intention, something that you want to plant, an I am statement, or anything you want to plant just at the end of the meditation. And very slowly start to move your fingers and your toes, maybe rotating your wrist, doing a few head rolls, then the other way around. You can add a few shoulder rolls. And very slowly, by looking down at the floor first, just opening your eyes in very, very thin lines. So looking down at the computer or the floor, and then slowly raising your eyes up to the horizon. How was that? Thanks for doing that. So I did that at the middle so we could break down the practice and give you some techniques to use, whether you do an entire yoga nidra practice or you listen to an audio or you don't, and you just want to do parts of it to really help you get rest. And you can do these practices in the morning, you can do them at night, you can do them when you wake up at 2 a.m. This is really meant for you to play with and enjoy. These are the 7 steps of Yoga Nidra. I'm just putting these up here so you can kind of see the flow, and I'll go through them as they pertain to different techniques for you to try. So before we go into the techniques, I just wanted to show you a brain scan of actually being in Yoga Nidra. The blue is alpha predominance. So our brain, before Yoga Nidra, you can see the frontal part of the brain, the cerebellum and the brainstem are highly, highly active. And then really the start of Yoga Nidra, what starts to happen is beta activity starts to reduce, and then alpha predominance starts to increase. And then during Yoga Nidra, you'll just see the difference in the brain and then in the color scan. And this is recorded, and I can also send you this PDF if you guys need it or want to refer to it in the future. So this is another little thing about the difference between conventional sleep and Yoga Nidra is just, it's the key difference is really Yoga Nidra allows you to relax the body mentally, physically, and emotionally. So you can actually have an opportunity to get that rest that you need. And it's this play between conscious and subconscious. Sometimes at next jump, people would come out of the meditation and be like, oh, shoot, Anne, I fell asleep. You know, did I do it wrong? And I would say, no, that's not doing it wrong. It's the journey. So we only spend a short amount of time in alpha and theta per evening. So asking you to be in alpha theta for 30 minutes is like asking a baby to walk. It's just the attempt, the journey to sleep, the attempt to stay aware and allow the body to relax before you actually fully go into an unconscious state is really the practice of Yoga Nidra. Some of these pictures I took from a room some of you New Yorkers and office might remember. I don't know, maybe you've moved office, but you might recognize some of your coworkers. So the first one is preparing the space. Around the time we were doing yoga nidra with Next Jump. Actually, Ariana Huffington came out with a book about getting yourself ready for sleep, how important it is, and actually the physical space. So that if you need more suggestions, that's a really good book to refer to. But really finding your optimal sleep environment. And what that means is not that it's just comfortable or it's the right temperature, but there's not things in the room that will keep you up, distracted, or even annoyed. I had to move a photo of frame in my room because I would stay up looking at it, or I would just be annoyed that it was there or it was tilted. So I had to move it. Comfortable sheets, things that you want there. Tissue, things that are near your bed that you have access to. So really going through your optimal sleep environment and what are the things that are preventing you from sleep, actually alleviate that, even if it's just the physical setup of where you sleep. The second one is releasing tension. That one we did at the beginning of the practice. There's research that shows if you're in a tension point, let's say you're in 50% tension, so you're on your computer, your shoulders are coming up, you're not aware of that, and you finally kind of relax your shoulders and you realize, wow, I am really tense in my shoulders. Research shows that in order to release that tension, we have to go past the tension percentage that you're currently at. So if you're at 50%, can you go into the 85 percentile and squeeze and hold and create more tension to indicate to the body where you don't want to go in order to release it, or where the body was going to go? So if you kind of force or encourage the body to go into that full tension, hold it, experience it, feel it, and then release it with an exhale, it'll help in relaxation and help in that journey to restful sleep. Setting an intention. This is really the kind of beginning part. It's called Sankalpa, the beginning part of Yoga Nidra. And as we saw with the graph with Alpha, it's a great place to set an intention. So right when you're about to go to sleep, this could be an I am statement. I've worked with expecting mothers. I actually have a sleep meditation that I made with doulas. And the intention that we had for mothers was, I trust my body. Or you could use, I am enough, I am love. I relax more deeply, or something like that. You can also put things that you want to solve while you're sleeping that won't keep you up. That you can allow your dreams and your subconscious to kind of take over and gnaw at and think about, and then wake up with a solution. I just put this in here. This is just I call it an intention builder. It is in some of the audio meditations that I have for Yoga Nidra, but it helps you get to a really deep desire. So if you do this or follow this, I would recommend laying down and do this and just say, what do I really desire in my life? And then ask it why again and again until you get to into the root desire. So if you want a new house and you keep asking it why and why and why, and maybe that's maybe you get to, I want space. I want space in my life to live the life I want to live. The rotation of consciousness, that's a key part of Yoga Nidra and kind of what differentiates other meditations with Yoga Nidra. That's the body scan. So imagine during the day, all your body lights are on. So your hands, your fingers, your legs, your brain, they're all on. And then you go to sleep and knock out and go into unconscious with all those lights still on. So you want to systematically turn those lights off. And you can do this, you can use an audio if you want, or just do it on your own, where you close your eyes, you bring your awareness to a part of the body. So my right hand, without moving it, I'm going to just bring awareness to my right hand. Shut that light off. Okay, I'm going to bring awareness to my left hand. Shut that light off. and on and on. Sometimes you actually might fall asleep during this time, but this is another great way to get that restful sleep and release tension before you go into sleep. The duality of experience. This was actually fun to work with. At Next Jump, we were trying a few different things. The idea about dualities is that as a human being, we live with dualities. So you might get an email and feel really frustrated, but you are expected to respond in a calm and peaceful manner, or even if you're still feeling frustrated. So the duality of experience allows us to feel both sides of the story and be okay, leading to more emotional balance and just kind of calmer sense of self in daily life. So the way you can do this is just imagine your body feeling really, really heavy, for example, if you're laying down. And with each breath, each inhale, each exhale, my body's feeling heavier and heavier. And then you can do the opposite, feeling lighter and lighter. And then if you feel comfortable, you can start to bring in how could I feel heavy and light both at the same time. Breath awareness is what we just did. So I say, instead of counting sheep, count your breath. If you're really, really tired and you can't get to sleep, start at a higher number and just keep counting down. And if you get to 40 and you lose your count, start again. And I can almost guarantee you'll wake up in the morning and you won't know where you left off on. Yeah, this one is good for when you're waking up in the morning, is just, and you want to get up but you're still feeling groggy, is just bringing to mind different things, different images, different numbers, to really expand the memory elasticity and help your mental recall. And finally, just coming out of sleep with care. Even if you don't get good sleep, that you really can just come out how we came out. So just kind of rotating your body, just taking a scan of mentally, physically, emotionally. How am I feeling? Do I remember anything I dreamt about? What am I grateful for? Things like that. You can also do the tension in the body thing again to kind of wake up the body. And this one is just a little extra. I call it capture the gems, but really, to take advantage of the subconscious. I have my phone next to my bed. It's on airplane mode, of course, but I actually have started to audio record. I used to type. So the things I showed you at the beginning of the presentation, I would type in my phone and I would wake up and have these sentences, or the name of my book, or the name of a song that I was writing, or a problem that I really was having trouble solving. I would wake up and the answers would be there. So whatever your mode is, that doesn't distract you too much. So this is good also for the people on the chat that said that you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're going to sleep later, so you don't wake up in the middle of the night, so you're getting enough sleep. Is just write some of those gems down. And just the benefits, we've went over this, but just really awakening creativity. It helps with your memory function. In Charlie's article, he talks about engineers remembering code better. And Yoga Nidra was used by Einstein and Van Gogh and Napoleon. Really short, quick naps that helped with their creativity and helped with their problem-solving abilities. And just the final thing, this is from the founder of Yoga Nidra, but really about, if you can work with a subconscious, which is this obedient disciple, what is the possibilities for how you manage your thoughts in your ordinary conscious life? So that's really what it's training for, Yoga Nidra. And then these are some resources, and they can share this with you. I have sleep meditations for beginners, for people at work, again, expecting mothers. If you have any questions about sleep or you want to design one specifically for you, totally open to that. I also do yoga and art classes and really work with emotions and how we create from emotions. The final one is you guys have a weekly sleep class with Argentina on Thursdays at 3 through Exuberancy, and that's on your on COA. So check that out, and hope you guys can continue really getting the benefits of rest in your life and nurturing that sleep relationship. So I'll take this off. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I don't know if we have someone put together or.
Hi.
Yeah. Yes.
So we receiving some questions in the chat, and I've been collating the ones that I've been able to catch. In the meantime, if you have any more questions, feel free to chat those in, and we will also try to bubble up as much as we can fit in within the next 5 minutes. So I'm just going to share some questions that did come in already during the session. One of the questions was about Yoga Nidra. The question says, are you saying Yoga Nidra is the substitute to actual sleep, or are you saying Yoga Nidra complements sleep?
Great question. It's really number 2, complements sleep. So, I mean, if you don't get any sleep, it would be good to do a Yoga Nidra session. I remember Charlie telling me, it's in the article, and also after a Yoga Nidra session, he told me, you know, I always sleep better when I know I'm doing Yoga Nidra at work the next day, because I have less pressure, because I know I'm going to get that 30 minutes. It's going to give me 2 hours. And so I can actually go to sleep without like, oh shoot, I'm at 5 hours, I'm at 4 hours, I'm at 3 hours. So use it as a complement. And if you aren't getting any sleep, try it as a supplement. You can also do them in the mornings. I have a lot of clients that actually found that doing a Yoga Nidra session in the morning is really, really helpful. But thanks for that. You still do need sleep. This is the Yoga Nidra is really focusing on the journey to sleep. So allowing yourself to rest, to give up that tension so you can get quality sleep.
Thank you very much, Anne. So another question that we received is, how many hours of sleep would you recommend for a child between ages of 4 through 8?
Yeah, sleep, you know, we know for babies, I mean, if you think of a baby, they sleep and eat, you know, every few hours. And because their brain is growing, expanding, they're taking in new information. So children really do need a good amount of sleep, if they can get it. If they're not getting continuous, you know, hours of sleep, I mean, 9 or 10 is really great. And if you add a nap to that, that's a beautiful thing to do. But children do need a little bit more than adults because of the brain function and building brain power. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, thank you very much, Anne. So another question is, when you doing Yoga Nidra, it's common to feel chilled as your body goes into deep relaxation. Is this why you need a blanket? And is there any way to avoid this?
Yes, great question. You must have done a lot of Yoga Nidra, whoever asked that question. I'm gonna stop this share so I can see you guys. Yeah, one of the things to prepare the body, has anyone ever done floating, like in a float tank, saltwater float tank? It's, yeah, some people might have. So saltwater floating is like it's called sensory deprivation. So you're actually trying to get the same thing with Yoga Nidra. I was actually crafting Yoga Nidra meditations to do in the water while you're floating, because I was so inspired by how these two things actually are trying to get to the same thing, which is a theta brainwave state, alpha brainwave state. So think of all your sensations except auditory. So listening to the voice, following instructions. So you don't want to have to touch any part of the body. You don't want to feel cold. You want your eyes to be completely closed, and if possible to have like an eye patch over the eyes. So that's why at Next Jump we started to give blankets. We started to warm the room up, because when you're cold, your body's going to wake up and it's going to shiver. So it's going to take you out of this alpha theta brainwave state, if that makes sense. You want to create a space in order for you to not wake up for outside circumstances. So you want to minimize any sensory experiences that will wake you up or that you know will wake you up. So if it's sound, earplugs or a sound machine. If it is light, you like really dark, is an eye patch. You know, if you get cold easily like I do, I have like 3 comforters on my bed. Ooh, try a weighted blanket. I like that. That sounds great. I love that. So those are some tips.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. I see a few questions about over-the-counter sleep medications like melatonin, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's one that I like. I think it's called Good Sleep. I get it from it's like little chocolate melatonin. It's like chocolate covered melatonin from an organic food store or something like that. That's nice. I also use like a tea. I get like fresh herb tea that helps with sleep. But yeah, I try to stay away from other medications that are heavier because of I really want to enjoy that subconscious and I don't want to just knock myself out. I know that there's times where that needs to happen. Like I talked about, when I was heavy in grief, and wasn't getting a lot of sleep, but try to do it as natural as possible and try to start with some of these practices. So releasing the tension, counting down, before doing, taking anything to get you to sleep.
Thank you very much. So I see a question about, so this participant particularly loves to sleep with the TV on, just to have that sound, and does not like to sleep, doesn't feel comfortable sleeping in dead silence. And
Right.
obviously these can contradict with some of the things like, blue lights right before bed. And so she's wondering if there are any other alternatives to having like the TV on that would be more beneficial and create a better sleeping habit.
Great question. Well, one is trying a sleep meditation audio, to just help you get to sleep. The other thing that I'll do if I don't want to listen to an audio is there's a on YouTube. It's called 440 Hertz, and it is actually the place of complete calm and what they call the sound of the universe. So it's like this base level sound that runs for, I think it like runs for 12 hours or something like that. That's really, really nice. And I see some people coming through sound machines. I don't have a sound machine. I've never tried one, but I have heard amazing things about them. So thank you, Bambi, for that. 440. Yep. Let me see if I can find the website. Yeah, if you search 440 Hertz in YouTube, like a long one, I'll try to find that and get you guys a link for that. And then I'm going to put in here a link to my website under meditations. There's different meditations. There's ones you can do in the bathtub. There's ones for sleep. So yeah, I think I sent it to only one person. Boy, Zoom, no matter how much you use it, it's still complicated. Any other questions? Was there any other ones?
Yeah, there are quite a few, but that is Unfortunately, all the time that we have for this session, we are actually over time. Is there any other way that people can contact you with questions if they have any?
Yeah, I'm going to type my email right now. And then I know some people wanted the presentation. I'll just turn that into a PDF and I'll send that to you, Onia. And maybe if you can distribute it, or if you just want to email me, I can send it to you that way too. And yeah, just email me. I am always open to talk about sleep and creativity and art and emotions. So yeah, thank you guys all for your time. And may your sleep relationship be bountiful and deep and meaningful, and all your other relationships in your life.
Thank you so much, Anne. That was a wonderful presentation, very informative. And thank you all so much for joining us. I hope that this was super, super helpful for you. We wish we could spend more time answering the questions, but unfortunately that is all of the time that we have. So as mentioned at the beginning of the session, we do have a feedback portion. This is super important. It gives Anne an idea of how the class went and the things that, resonated with you or did not resonate with you about the session, and just ways to ensure that this session is being as beneficial to you as possible. So I did post the download links in the chat. I will go ahead and repost those links for anyone that possibly missed them, just so that you can download the feedback app. This is the application that we will be using to give the feedback. Okay, so I will go ahead now and just repost the links for anyone that missed them. So we have links for Apple, Android, and we also have a web browser version for anyone that is not able to have access to a mobile device. So I will just post those links right now. Okay. So as Anne mentioned, she will be sharing the slides with us, and we will look into ways to distribute them. We also have this session recorded. I did post that information in the chat. The recording will be available by tomorrow at 5 p.m. on our website. Where you sign up for the session, we have a Video Hub page, and you can access all of the recordings from today's session. Okay, so we will go on over now to the feedback portion for today. I will just go ahead and do a quick demo on how to use the app to leave feedback. I'm gonna go ahead to share my screen on my phone. Okay. So this is the home page of the feedback app after you have downloaded the app, after you have registered with your email, verified your account. This will be the home page. And the way that you give feedback is that you select the plus sign at the bottom center of the screen. And now what you want to do is search for the individual. In this case, it's going to be Anne Kohler. Select on the individual, and this is where you actually give the feedback. You want to start by giving out a score ranging from 1 through to 4, 1 being below expectations, 2 meets expectations, 3 exceeds your expectations, and 4 far exceeds expectations. So think, blew your mind. You got way more than you were anticipating from the session. So definitely give your score. And then you want to go ahead and select a meeting tag. In this case, the meeting tag is nurturing your sleep relationship. And then in the comment section, this is where you will actually give your feedback. Feel free to be as descriptive as you like. Definitely let us know what resonated with you and anything that didn't resonate with you, if there are some, and anything that you would have loved to see more, or any things that you would have loved to hear more about in today's session. Definitely let us know. We do review these and we do apply those to future sessions to make sure that these classes are being as beneficial to you as possible. Okay. And you can also engage with the app further. You can actually view the feedback, all of the feedback that we are receiving for the session. If you go to the meetings tag at the bottom right area on the screen, and you select on the meeting, nurturing your sleep relationship, you can actually see all of the feedback that your fellow participants have given. You can go into the individual, you can upvote, you can downvote feedback, or you can even flag any inappropriate feedback. So definitely engage with the app further if you like. I will just go ahead now and stop sharing my screen on my phone so that I can pull up a slide with all of the information for giving your feedback. Okay, so as mentioned, you're leaving feedback for Ann Kohler. The meeting tag is Nurturing Your Sleep Relationship. You're letting us know what resonated with you, what didn't, and what you wanted to hear more about. You're also leaving some feedback for myself, Onye Miyaka, as your host. So definitely let us know your feedback. And if you have any issues with the feedback app at all, feel free to send an email to coahelpdesk@nextjump.com. This is actually the QR code for leaving feedback for this particular session. Do note, however, you have to have the feedback app already downloaded to use this QR code to leave feedback for the session. If you have any further questions, feel free to chat those in. I will start to monitor those and answer any questions that come in. So the recording for the session will be available on the website as early as tomorrow at 5 p.m. As for the slides, Anne will be sharing that with our team, and our team will look into ways to distribute the slides. Also, please remember that we have other sessions running throughout today. Definitely feel free to check those out if you can spare the time. We actually do have many Yoga Nidra sessions available. I'm not sure if there's any more available today, but we do have these sessions every single week. So if you enjoy that mini little meditation that we had and you want to get more of an experience for the entire session, we have Yoga Nidra sessions available every Thursday here at COA. You are able to sign up for next week's session as early as tomorrow at noon if you are 5-star and 12:15 if you are not 5-star. However, feel free to check the schedule online to see if there are any other sessions that you're interested in participating in today. There may be a Yoga Nidra session left on there. Okay, so I'm just going to give a few more minutes to leave your feedback.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to hop off. Email me with any questions, and I'll find a way to get this presentation over to you guys.
Okay. So that is all of the time that we have for today. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed today's session. As mentioned, this is recorded. It will be available on the site at the Video Hub by tomorrow at 5 p.m. And you can also register for Yoga Nidra sessions on Koa. You can register for next week's sessions as early as tomorrow at noon if you were a 5-star, and 15 past noon if you are not 5-star. So feel free to check that out. You can also check out our other sessions happening today, especially our 5 p.m. gratitude session. It's a super laid back session. Our CEOs will be present. We play some fun games and activities. And we also take that time to recognize people that we are grateful for, people that have helped us throughout the week. It's a culture here at Next Jump, so feel free to check that out if you can spare the time. That is 5 p.m. EST. Again, thank you all so much for joining us, and I hope that you do have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Bye for now. I see here there are a few questions coming in for N in regards to sleep. Please note that N has hopped off the call. However, feel free to send her an email if you have any other questions that you would like to ask. Okay, all right, thank you so much, and bye again. Have a great rest of your day.